Today on Firebird Nation Sports Update, we'll recap the University of the District of Columbia men's and women's tennis NCAA tournament runs, and we'll review the Firebirds women's outdoor track and field season. We'll visit with the architects of each program, head cross-country and track and field coach Alton McKenzie, and head men's and women's tennis coach Dickie Mahaffey. In the Firebird Alumni Spotlight, we'll meet former men's tennis student athlete and present-day engineer Lalindra Jayatilleke. We'll also chat with one of the athletic department administrators when we speak with the Associate Director of Athletics, Patrick Knapp. All that and more coming up on the Firebird Nation Sports Update. Hello, this is Firebird Nation Sports Update, your inside look at the University of the District of Columbia athletics. I'm your host, Matt Rienzo. Flap your wings and get ready to soar because the Firebird is rising in the nation's capital. Summertime is upon us in the nation's capital, and that means the academic and athletic year has come to a close. In tennis action, both the men's and women's tennis teams had historic years as they each advanced to the NCAA Tournament for the first time in program history. The women's tennis team finished the season with a mark of 17-4, more than doubling their win total of 7 from the previous year. The Firebirds also earned the school's first East Coast Conference championship this fall, which automatically qualified them for the program's first ever NCAA tournament. In the NCAAs, the Firebirds knocked off number 6 Adelphi by a score of 5-4 in the first round, and then upset the tournament host and number 2 seed, Southern New Hampshire. With that win, they advanced to the Sweet 16 in Louisville, Kentucky as the East Region's number 2 representative. In the Sweet 16, the Firebirds succumbed to the reigning national champion, Barry University, 5-0 on May 18th at EP Tom Sawyer State Park. The Sweet 16 appearance capped off a storybook season for the women's tennis program. On the men's side, the Firebirds set a school record for wins at 17 and advanced to the program's first ever NCAA tournament. The Firebirds won their first round NCAA matchup with the number 6 NYIT 5-1, advancing to the second round against perennial East Coast Conference powerhouse number 2 seeded Queens College. The Firebirds looked poised to beat their ECC rivals when they claimed victories in 2 of the 3 doubles matches right off the bat. But the Knights came charging back with 4 singles wins to earn the victory 5-2 and advance to the NCAA Sweet 16. Both the men's and women's tennis programs return most of their starters, so the future for Firebirds tennis shines bright in Washington, D.C. The Firebirds track and field program, under head coach Alton McKenzie, made significant progress as well in his first full year at the helm. The Firebirds narrowly missed the NCAAs in several events, but they put bricks in place for a monument of success in the future. Several Firebirds earned all-region honors. Highlighting that group are all 4 members from the 3rd-ranked 4x100 meter relay team: Atia Amos, Tatiana Kamek, Shauna K. Creary, and Kadian Jones, as well as the number 4 ranked shot putter in the region, Ariel Clark, and the top 2 400-meter dash sprinters in the region, Kenesha Hollis and Callister Jones. Hollis, who ran a season-best time of 55.74 at the Johnson C. Smith Invitational, finished ranked 32nd in the nation. Callister Jones also ran her best time of 56.14 at Johnson C. Smith. This dynamic duo proved to be the most formidable pair of 400-meter sprinters in the East region, often finishing 1st and 2nd in their heats. The 4x100 meter team also had its breakout race at the Johnson C. Smith Invitational. They clocked a season-best time of 48.3. Clark had her shining moment at the Colonial Relays back on April 5th, when she tossed a season-best 13.13 meters. That afternoon, she finished 2nd out of 22 competitors. It sounds like Coach McKenzie has a lot to build on for the future. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll visit with Coach McKenzie and men's and women's tennis coach Dickie Mahaffey. We're now joined in the Coach's Corner by head coaches Dickie Mahaffey and Alton McKenzie. Coaches, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having us, Matt.
Thanks for having us.
Coach Mahaffey, let's start with you. On the women's side, you're coming off a storybook season, 17-4 record. Not only did you win the ECC championship in the fall, but you made it to the NCAA tournament as well, and then advanced 2 games into the Sweet 16. Storybook season. Tell us a little bit about that. What was it like?
Incredible, Matt. You start a season and you set goals, and to meet those and arguably exceed them is just a dream come true. So proud of the ladies. They competed tough all season, especially once the postseason came. Won 2 very tough matches, like you said, to advance to the Sweet 16. Fantastic experience. And
they represented the University of the District of Columbia extremely well, and you must be very proud of them.
Very proud of them.
Now let's talk about your road to the Sweet 16. You won your first round match against the Delphi, and then your second round match you defeated number 2 seeded Southern New Hampshire. Take us through briefly, as you can recollect from a few weeks ago, those 2 matches.
Yeah. Well, we played at Delphi earlier in the regular season, and it was another close match. Maria Vikina clinched that match for us. We won that match 5-4, and again, it came down to the last match again against the Delphi. I knew it was going to be a tough match, and came down to Maria's match. She was down a set and fought her way, clawed, and came back and showed amazing toughness, fought off match points, and to come back and win the match for the team. And the team was just so excited, so proud of Maria, so proud of her leadership.
So she's your lone senior. How special was that she was able to clinch that match for you?
So special to be able to, in your senior year, to rise up to the occasion and represent your team and advance the team like that in such a clutch match is incredible.
At the end of that match, with Maria Vikina playing the last match and the whole tournament on the line, was everybody watching at that point? It must have been an exciting atmosphere.
Absolutely. All of our players were watching, the other team's players, and then just random spectators were just standing around watching the match. It was a marathon match, 5-hour match in total. So wow.
What a high pressure situation, but she did a great job and responded for you. So, and then the next round you defeated number 2 Southern New Hampshire. What was that match
Again,
like?
I knew we were going to have another tough test. Southern New Hampshire just won the Northeast 10 championship, so I knew they were going to be ready to compete. My girls rose up again. We had people that didn't necessarily have a great day the day before step up and contribute to the victory for us, so it was a great win.
And you were the 3 seed, they were the 2 seed, so
Correct.
A little bit of an upset, but
Correct.
Not surprising on your part, I'd imagine.
I knew if we played well, we'd have a good shot of winning.
Well, congratulations to the women's tennis team on their accomplishment. Now let's switch to the men's side. They had a great season in their own right. They were 17-5, second in the East Coast Conference, made the NCAA tournament as well. They advanced to the second round, so didn't quite get to the Sweet 16, but they did win their first round match. Tell us a little bit about their accomplishment.
Another outstanding season for the men's tennis team. We had to face New York Institute of Technology for the 4th time this season.
Wow.
As a former head coach, you don't really want to see the same opponent more than a couple times if you can help it.
Even twice, it's tough to beat a team.
Correct.
Never mind 4 times.
And they're a very, very solid team, but we came out very sharp, won pretty easily. We had a great day against New York NYIT. And followed up with an indoor match against Queens, our arch enemy, our nemesis in the conference, correct. Yeah. And off to a very solid start. We were up 2-1 after doubles. We've never been up against Queens ever, so that was an accomplishment unto itself. Knowing we had a tough road ahead of us, I told the guys after doubles, hey, we still got a lot of work to do. And we came up a little short.
Well, Queens certainly is a powerhouse on the men's side.
Yes.
And then the women's team fell to Barry University, which is returning national champions. So
correct.
You ran into some great opponents, but certainly performed well and represented the university exceptionally well. So congratulations to both groups.
Thank you very much.
Coach McKenzie, let's switch it over to you. You've been here about 1.5 years now, and you seem to be building a program that can really compete nationally. And you had a few all-region athletes this year who just narrowly missed the NCAA tournament. Correct. Tell us a little bit about the women's track and field competitors who just narrowly missed the NCAAs.
Sure. We had 2 400-meter runners who were first and second in the East region. They actually the 400 is very competitive across the country. They were actually, Kenesha was 32nd in the country.
That's Kenesha Hollis.
Kenesha Hollis, and they only take 17 people to the national championship. So if you think of that, that's a very small number. In Division I, they actually take 48 to a regional meet. For Division II, they don't do that. So she ran 55.74, and the last time that got in was 55.19. So not that much time.
Sure.
A very small number, but very proud of them being first and second in the region. We also had the fourth best shot putter in the region, so you know, that kind of is a mark of our ability to compete across the track and in the field.
Yeah, Kenesha and Callister, as you said, first and second in the region.
Correct.
Narrowly missed the NCAAs, but
Yep.
to be first and second in the region, you got to be very proud of that.
Oh, definitely. They would have been in the top 10 anywhere in the country with those times. So to be 1 and 2 in the region from the same university speaks to the work that we're trying to put in to ensure that we're competitive with anyone across the board.
And it does seem like you're putting the bricks in place for success.
I'm trying. Have a long jumper who was 6th in the region as well. So picking our spots, we have good relay teams. So it takes a while. You know, I'm trying to be patient, and I know it takes some time, but I think we're getting there.
And you talked about relays. You were at the Penn Relays a few weeks ago.
Correct.
How many athletes did you bring up to the Penn Relays, and what was that experience like?
I brought a small group, only brought 7 athletes. I had a 4x1, a 4x4, and 4x2 actually, 4x2 and a 4x4. And we actually, you know, Penn Relays is the biggest carnival, oldest relay carnival in the country. You know, when you get a chance to run in front of 30,000 people, it speaks for itself how competitive that is. And, you know, we competed well. It was, you're running against everyone, Division I, the top tier programs in the country. You're competing against, or you're seeing people compete professionally. So it's high school, college athletes, professionals. So it's a tremendous experience for them to be able to compete in front of that many people.
Now, you talked about, you know, we talked about just narrowly missing the NCAAs. There's something in track called last chance meets.
Correct.
Explain to the viewers what those are and how many did you participate in?
Right, we actually ended up competing in 2 of those, and you could think of it as a comparison with basketball. You might be on the bubble, so to speak, trying to get into the tournament, and with track and field, it's based on time and position that you're in. So, for example, Kenesha was 19th at one point during the year, but you have to keep on improving your time because there's a cutoff date, which was May 13th, and thus the reference to last chance typically really comes down to having the last chance to get in. So we ran 2 meets. The 12th we ran at the UVA, and the 13th we ran at Georgian Court in New Jersey, and they gave their best effort, but just unfortunately wasn't good enough to get in.
Now we have time for one last question. I'll open it up to both of you. It seems like you're both really building success. What's the key to really getting to that point and really building a successful program, if you had to narrow it down to a couple things?
I think you bring in my opinion, a couple keys is, you know, your student athletes not just competing and having a successful season, but also enjoying themselves and having a very good experience. And that translates into other talented student athletes wanting to come and join your program as well.
I would attest to Coach Mahaffey's success in tennis. That actually makes a difference with how kids view the school. And my main thing is to get kids who want to be at UDC. And that makes a major difference. You want to come and compete and do well because you want to be at the school. And that's the main thing I would push for when I'm recruiting a kid.
Well, you're both certainly doing the right things. I wish you the best of luck and continued success. Make sure you take some time to enjoy your summer a little bit. And thanks for being with us on the show.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
When we come back, the Firebird Alumni Spotlight. We're now joined in the Firebird Alumni Spotlight by recent University of the District of Columbia graduate and up-and-coming engineer Lalindra Jayatilleke. Lalindra, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Lalindra, I understand You just graduated from UDC a couple weeks ago with a degree in electrical engineering.
Yes.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How hard was it to balance your academics as an electrical engineer and then your time as a student athlete as well? How hard was it to balance those two things?
Well, it was very challenging at times, but with the help of my faculty and my professors, and also the athletics department, has been very easy to manage and to maintain my schedule and to meet my athletic and academic obligations.
The electrical engineering major must have been very difficult.
Yeah, it was at times. I mean, the projects require a lot of time in terms of just doing them. Required a lot of time. Of course, the curricula is very challenging at times too, but managed to get through it eventually and managed to come out unscathed, I would say.
Yes. And now you were the captain of the tennis team a year ago in the 2010-2011 team. You helped turn the team around from a team that was had 2 wins to a team that was 13-5 and ranked 4th in the region. This past season, your eligibility was exhausted, and so you weren't able to compete, but you did go to a lot of the matches, and you seem to be the biggest fan of the tennis team. What's it like to witness the transformation that they've had from 2 wins 2 years ago to now 17-5 this year and second seed in the ECC and NCAA Tournament? What was it like to be part of that and to witness that?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm extremely proud of the accomplishments of the UDC men's tennis team. Coach Mahaffey and Miss Pat Thomas has done an incredible job just turning around the win-loss records that you just mentioned earlier. I'm extremely proud, and it has been very exciting to be a part of that. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity to be a part of that. But yeah, all in all, I would say I'm just extremely proud and very excited to see the transformation in the athletics department, especially the tennis program at UDC.
Well, that's great to hear, and there certainly is a lot of buzz around campus about not only the 2 tennis teams advancing to the NCAA tournament, but also the men's and women's basketball teams earlier in the year. So good things are definitely happening. Now let's switch back to your engineering pursuits. I understand you just landed a big job in the engineering field. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it big as yet. I'm still, starting out to some extent. Still a novice, I would say, an engineer. But I got an offer from Texas Instruments in Dallas, Texas, to start work middle of July. So I accepted the offer, and I'm in the process of finalizing the details. But yeah, I'm really excited about the opportunity and what my career has in store for me in the future.
Well, that's great. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You certainly are a student athlete in every sense of the word. What are your long-term goals from an engineering standpoint?
Well, one of my goals since I was a kid was to become a roboticist and to work in robotics. So I hope to pursue that eventually. One of the things I also want to do is go to graduate school. So Texas Instruments has a great program where you can actually work and go to grad school. So I want to do that at some point. I also want to be able to get students and kids involved in STEM-related fields. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And as we all know, the U.S. has a big problem in attracting students to STEM-related areas of study. So eventually, I want to create or be part of programs, that would draw students to these kind of to this field in particular.
Interesting. Now, you were born in Sri Lanka, and then you moved to the Fiji Islands. How did you end up at the University of the District of Columbia?
That's a great question. I get asked that quite a lot, and quite honestly, I still don't have the answer. Purely by chance, I would say, but for personal reasons, I moved to DC back in 2008, and I wanted to finish my studies, and I used to live just up the road from the campus, and I used to walk by the campus every day going to the metro station. So I said, hey, let me just try and apply to this university and see how it pans out. And I applied, I got accepted, then a semester later I got in touch with Coach Mahaffey to see if I can play some tennis as well while I was here. But yeah, that's how I ended up, yeah.
And it's all working out for the best.
Yeah, it sure is, and I'm so glad to have been part of the institution. It has been a great experience.
What's been your favorite part about being a student athlete at the university?
I would say just the diversity and the kind of people that I've come to meet along the way. I've had the pleasure of playing with people from all over the world, very talented athletes and students from all over the world. And being in an international city such as Washington, D.C., I believe our school reflects that as well. We got a lot of international flavor, and that definitely has been a highlight of my education here at UDC.
Well, that's great, and certainly you're an impressive student athlete, the quintessential student athlete. and the Firebird community is very proud of you and certainly of your tennis counterparts. So we look forward to following your career well into the future. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
When we come back, we'll visit with Director of Athletics for External Affairs, Patrick Knapp. We're now joined by Associate Director of Athletics for External Affairs, Patrick Knapp. Patrick, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
To start us off, tell us a little bit about what an Athletic Director for External Affairs does in an athletic department.
Well, what I've been charged to do by Patricia Thomas, our Director of Athletics, is to be in charge of fundraising and development, alumni relations, gathering corporate sponsorships for athletics, the running of, or partially the running of, the Firebirds Forever alumni group, which is our first ever athletic department fundraising group. Special events, in particular, our Hall of Fame event, which we ran this past year.
So heavily event-based and fundraising and alumni-based as well.
Right. Firebirds Forever being a big part of it as we move forward.
Now, you've been at the University of the District of Columbia for almost 2 years. What progress have you seen, and what are some of the things that initiatives, and what's some of the progress that you've seen since you've been here?
Well, I didn't have to think about this too long because I've seen tremendous strides. One of them is that we're settled with our coaches, and we have excellent coaches. I think the other thing is, very obviously, I'm sure you've talked about many times, we're in the East Coast Conference. First time we've ever been in an athletic conference. We're winning. Our teams are very successful, basketball, tennis, many others. I've seen the growth of the campus physically.
With the new plaza, the Denard Plaza.
Yeah, the plaza in particular looks wonderful. And the alumni are coming back one by one, piece by piece, to get involved with athletics. So I've seen a lot of positive changes.
Now, during the summer months, we're trying to get to know some of the senior staff and some of the administration of the athletic department. Last show, we had Associate AD for Internal Operations, Mike Riley, on the show. And you two have similar backgrounds in that you both coached basketball for many years. You coached, many of your former players still know you as Coach Knapp, and you coached at Georgetown for many years and UPenn as well. Tell us a little bit about your coaching history.
Well, having been 35 years in the game as a high school and college coach, the college coaching experience all on the women's basketball Division I level, I was very honored and privileged to have those opportunities. I think most coaches, when they look back, look at the friends they've made in the business, but they look at the student athletes that they helped produce.
It's a special bond.
Yeah, and I don't think we should ever take credit for all the transformation and progress that student athletes make, because obviously they have families, they have the university, they have other coaches, they have other players. But certainly as a coach, you get attached to them. And I remember those student athletes very fondly. I remember the successes very fondly. And once in a while I wake up in nightmares of some of the tough games that we lost, but that's
scoreboard
natural.
Nightmares.
That's a natural, I think, for any coach.
Now, how smooth was the transition for you from coaching to administration? A lot of similarities.
I think, Matt, over the last 10 years, it was very smooth, only because I found that in my latter years at Georgetown and my years at Penn, fundraising and development and alumni relations, you were evaluated on those things. They were at the forefront. Obviously, winning and recruiting and coaching were important, but administrators, even at the D1 level, were saying you need to get involved in fundraising and development and alumni relations and producing events. And so I did all those things. I did them very well. And so to me, this was a smooth transition.
And that's just a natural fit then for you. You mentioned corporate sponsorship, corporate partnerships. Who are some of the athletic department's corporate sponsors?
Well, we started by going right up and down the street here on Connecticut Avenue. And so we have the Days Inn, our neighborhood hotel. We have the Doubletree Inn of Bethesda. We have Sonoda Printing, who does a lot of UDC printing and all over the city. Chadwick's Restaurant in Friendship Heights, the Holiday Inn in Georgetown. Office Depot, right across the street from us. Tesoro's Restaurant, right next to the Days Inn. Capital One Bank has been involved, and we had Jerry's Pizza on Connecticut Avenue as well.
And now how can people, community leaders, business leaders, how can they get involved, and what do they get in return for their partnership?
Well, first of all, we sell the fact that we're neighbors, and we would like them to connect with us as an educational neighbor. Obviously, we want to bring business to them, so we make a commitment to them that will bring X amount of business or drive visiting teams, friends, and family to them for business. And we hope that they will be seen as a supporter of UDC athletics, and they'll be proud of that.
And there are things available, signage at events, and back of tickets, things like that as well that these corporate sponsors
and the website
can take advantage of.
Right, and the website, as you well know, you work on that. We like to get them on the website, not only our visitors guide, but on our athletic department website as well.
Now, you mentioned also earlier working with events. You organized the Hall of Fame event, the inaugural Hall of Fame event this past February. That was your baby. Tell us a little bit about starting a Hall of Fame from scratch. What was that like, and what were some of the trials and tribulations that you had, and then obviously the success?
Well, as you well know, Patricia Thomas and Joe Lang, who's an associate AD here as well, both have great experience with that, with their Georgetown University connections. So I leaned on them quite a bit. But when it came right down to it, it was a matter of getting a committee in place, which ended up not being that hard. But once we got the committee in place, 5 or 6 meetings starting from the end of August all the way up to the event, they took a lot of time. They were intense. There was a lot of information that went back and forth, a lot of debate, research, but it was good debate. It was good research, and it brought to light the best and the greatest of UDC athletic history. I thought we had a fabulous first class, and we're going to continue to do it.
Now, one of the things that's interesting and I would imagine makes the process a little difficult is that the University of the District of Columbia is made up of 9 legacy institutions, all different names that have come together over time to make the present-day university as we know it. Are they represented in the Hall of Fame committee, and how complicated was that, trying to maybe get each one represented? And I'm sure that was difficult.
I think at first what Patricia and I felt we needed to do was start it. Get the process rolling. More or less, if you build it, they will come.
Which they did.
And that's what happened. That's what happened. So, answer your first question, we had, I think, 6 of the 9 legacy institutions represented. Our intention is to have them all, if at all possible. We also want to make sure that we're hitting each school with Hall of Fame inductees, which we didn't the first time. But then again, we think that we were very close to hitting a home run as to who the greatest in school's history were, minus, obviously, everybody's going to debate minus 2 or 3 other people. We are hopeful they'll get in the next time.
Yeah, and that debate, obviously, they can submit and nominate for next year's Hall of Fame. And it's likely that there will be another one next year or every other year?
We are planning to have one. It most likely will be in February again of 2013. And yes, nominations are wide open. Anybody can be nominated who played here, coached here, or was an administrator here, and they're wide open for the committee's perusal.
And you can do that on the website, udcfirebirds.com.
Right.
Great. Now, what's been, a couple more questions, what's been, in your time at UDC, some of the things that you've enjoyed the most, or been most proud of?
I enjoy interacting, obviously, with our staff, the student athletes. I kind of laid in the weeds my first year, tried to figure out what was going on. Didn't want to be too out front. But this year in particular, I got to know more student athletes, which I enjoy, encouraging them or congratulating them. I think the other thing that I'm very proud of is we're inching towards more and more alumni participation, and we have a lot of things planned for the coming year.
Well, that's great, and we'll obviously keep everyone updated about the future Hall of Fame and other events in the future that you're working on. So, Patrick, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
That's all the time we have today. Don't forget to follow UDC Athletics on Twitter at UDC Firebird Fans, on Facebook at UDC Athletics, and on YouTube at UDC Athletics 1. And be sure to check out the Firebird Fan Podcast and the Firebird blog as well at udcfirebirds.com. Thanks for watching the Firebird Nation Sports Update. I'm your host, Matt Rienzo. The Firebird is rising in the nation's capital, and we're glad you're along for the ride.